And all right, we're live. There we go. Perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, all you cool cats and kittens out there, this is the Fatal 4-Way main event podcast of all wrestling podcast here. And I mean, we're just, the death to the death here. I'm your boy, Larry Fresh, and let me just go around here and introduce everybody. We got a nice, cool combination. We got 4 different shows. We got multiple Emmy winners down there.
Oh, yeah, this is Emmy Row down here.
Emmy Row down there.
Yeah.
We got radio personalities. We got podcast people. We got everything here. So let's go around and introduce everybody. To my there is Eben. You know him as the one of the co-hosts of the We Ain't Found Sith #Nerds with Tans podcast there. That's Eben.
Hey, thanks for having me on, bro.
And Ferb, why don't you introduce yourself there, bro?
Okay, what's up? I'm entering day 7 of isolation in my room. So we are.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We're struggling out here. The boredom is starting to creep up on me. I'm slowly going insane, but hopefully we pull through. You know.
Awesome. And our big guest over here, the other multi Emmy winner and former local Deco Drive guy down here. That's where a lot of you people might recognize him. But he is a huge wrestling fan with an incredible resume of interviews there I've seen, which I got some questions, man. I got to ask you, but we'll get into that. Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. And it's always great to talk about wrestling, especially during WrestleMania week.
That's what's up. Hell yeah, man. So, all right, guys, it's a weird time. We're all locked up, but at the same time, thanks to technology, we're able to hang out here and have this conversation. We've done a couple of wrestling-specific half shows in the past, and Ferb, you were a part of it, but this one's a little different. Last time we did it at a brewery, we're all hanging out, having a good time, being able to socialize a little bit, but, here we're all in the comforts of our own room, but Eben's got I keep pointing this way, but it's this way. Eben's got the sweet Razor Ramon shirt. You got the championship belts behind you. Are those, you got to tell us a little bit about those.
This is part of my small collection. And I think I get them all from that championship. So they're not all autographed yet, but the ECW championship here is autographed by Rob Van Dam. The Winged Eagle is autographed by Hulk Hogan. And we got the big gold, which is on the floor and should probably be in a better spot, autographed by Bill Goldberg, who your neck.
That's what's up, dude. So I found out a few weeks ago. I know you guys, the 3 of you, are all big, up to date with the wrestling. I'm the old school guy. I grew up on it in the 90s and in the 2000s, but I just found out a few weeks ago that Goldberg is champion. I didn't even know he was still wrestling, but he's apparently a champion and the first guy to win it in 4 decades. What's going on here, man? What happened?
Well, I think we're just trying to figure that out,
I don't know what happened there. I don't know why they pulled the title off the Fiend, who was, probably the hottest thing going on the SmackDown brand. And I don't know, I guess maybe to bring in maybe some of the older fans, try to get the ratings up on Fox. It's definitely an internal decision that as a fan just doesn't really make too much sense, but I kind of see where they were going with it.
Okay. I see. Oh, wait, we got some comments here. Chris Santiago, forever jealous of Chris's ECW title. Have a good time, fellas. There you go.
Thank you, Chris. And look, I'll add on to what you were saying there. The Fiend had so much momentum. He was unbeatable. Seth Rollins couldn't even beat him with some, large hammer. And then Goldberg comes in after not wrestling for a year and beats him quick and beats him clean. And people were very upset about this. And I think that it's kind of like WWE's way of going, you thought you knew how this was going to go. You thought you figured this out. And at the last second, we'll throw a curveball in here and screw it all up for you.
My
Okay.
favorite part about having Goldberg as champion is that the rest of his matches, you don't know if you're going to get a train wreck or you're going to get, a little gem from Goldberg, because the matches aren't lasting more than 10 minutes. And by the match he had with Bray Wyatt, it wasn't the smoothest match ever, that he's had. And he's notorious in the last couple of years. Obviously, he's a lot older, to having these big fights, but not always, living up to the hype. So I like it because now whenever Goldberg fights, I have to watch it because it's either going to be a cringe fest or it's going to be pretty fucking awesome. So, pick your poison.
Okay, all right. I mean, but it's just it's Goldberg. Like the last thing I remembered of him was in The Longest Yard. And how old is that movie? Like that's been around for a minute too. I mean, I try not to date myself, but I had no clue that he was even like. Does he look good? I mean, I saw like just a quick little thing, but I mean, is he still jacked up or what?
He's jacked to the gills.
Huh?
Oh yeah,
Great. He looks
oh
great.
yeah, he's still jacked.
Yeah.
And I think that part of this is Goldberg's basically saying, if you want to bring me back in, you got to bring me back into a storyline that makes a lot of sense. And I think that he comes right back in, not only competing for the title, now he wins the title. I would have to imagine that Goldberg has some sort of say in that.
Oh, okay, man. It's just it was definitely a pleasant surprise. Eben, you look like you wanted to say something there. My bad.
No, I'm just wondering because I think a lot of it was done probably also maybe to I think they were looking for a way to kind of get Roman Reigns over. So the whole storyline going into Mania of Roman Reigns versus Goldberg after Goldberg wins the title in the way that he won it, like maybe this is a way of like trying to get the fans and because Roman's a very polarizing figure, right? Roman was always kind of like the kids loved him, but the old school wrestling fans were like, we don't like this guy. And then he got, unfortunately had to go away because he had his leukemia came back, comes back. Everybody's behind him all of a sudden. And I think they were just kind of looking away, like, how do we keep this going so that we don't have the boo birds come back?
I get you. Yeah, I can tell you as the old school guy, I've seen his evolution as a character and stuff like that. And I actually met Roman Reigns at Super Bowl Media Week, Super Bowl Media Day, the big media party they had. He went undercover, I think, for WWE Network and was asking the football players questions. And I'm standing there in the pit holding a camera and trying to ask a question. I look over, there's this big dude there, with this man bun all tight. And he's asking some good questions. But I was like, it took me a second because the first question, he didn't introduce himself or anything. And I'm looking at him like, bro, that guy, that's not a regular reporter. And then he came up and said who he was, which I thought was really cool. So
he's probably the most jacked reporter of all time.
Oh yeah, easy.
Edwin, we've been in those press boxes. You might know sports, but
oh no, for sure.
Reporters don't look like they stepped a foot on the field.
No, absolutely. He definitely he didn't have the look of it, but he did a good job. I gotta hand it to him, man. He asked some pretty good questions and he got some good answers. So I was impressed, man. He's got some mic skills there, but as the old school guy, I don't know. I feel like that shtick and his gimmick has just never really appealed to me. But I know the kids are crazy about it. So let's see here. Well, wait, we got some more. All right, thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to click the little subscribe button down there and the little bell for the notifications, and be sure to follow. We're putting all the links for everybody. Everybody's on there. Oh wait, Ferb's got. Oh yeah. Roman Reigns might be a big dude, but Ferb's got he's got those man claws right there, dude.
Those are large hands.
I'll give him a firm handshake.
I like that. Man, speaking of mandible claw, Chris, I wanted to ask you. I was looking through your videos. I saw you in and locked up with Mick Foley. Not to brag. That's pretty damn cool, man. But
yeah, that was an interview we did like 9 years ago. It was 2011, and I just figured, we're in the middle of this. We're talking about it. Well, why don't we actually do it? I trained to be a wrestler, at least a little bit. I went to wrestling school when I was in college, so I know some of the basics of this, and I kind of wanted to see if I could, lock up with Mick Foley, basically so that I could just say, I locked up with Mick Foley. I wrestled Mick Foley.
Impressive.
Well, you can't,
but when he got you in the headlock, though.
Yeah. I was saying, you don't have to just say it. You've got video evidence. So, like, anybody that says, like, yeah, you're lying, like, go to YouTube. It's right there.
Again, you're right. When I got in that headlock, I completely forgot what the reversal out of the headlock was. So I just, ate the headlock for, 30 seconds.
Yeah, did it. I mean, it's Mick Foley, I was kind of like, oh, man, big sweaty dude there grabbing you like that. I thought that couldn't have been too pleasant for him, but sorry, no.
As a
Sorry,
big sweaty
Eben, I know
dude, you have offended me with that remark.
But yeah, man, no, I think it's really cool. And Chris, you've got quite. How long have you been like covering and being able to interview? You said that was 9 years ago. How long have you been doing it for the wrestling side?
Well, I got into broadcasting in 2005, right after I graduated from college, and it was right into I'm so fortunate, so grateful to be right on TV from there. 2007 was my first wrestling interview. Bobby Lashley, he was the ECW champion at the time. Okay. I put the throwback video on my YouTube channel last summer, and just like the Mick Foley clip, there's a part in it where I in the middle of the interview, I challenged him for the ECW belts, and he's like, "All right, man, you got to be able to go right here, right now," and I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but that Lashley dude was a big boy, man. I remember that. I was yeah. Have you guys? Yeah, is he still wrestling? I don't know. I haven't felt like I've heard it. Yeah, WWE also, or
yeah, he's there.
Okay, all right. But well, let's see, man. Well, I wanted to talk quickly. So now that we're all quarantined here. We're all separated, and it's affected our daily lives. Also affected, the product on TV that we're so used to watching in front of these big crowds and everything. How do you guys feel the last few weeks watching the events, being without any fans there, still seeing the same emotion that they're giving? Because I got to give it up to all the wrestlers, man. They're giving you 110%. They're really, they're going through, they're powering through, and that's got to be tough without anybody there watching them. You got to feed off that energy. But how do you guys watching the product, and how do you guys take it, and what do you expect for WrestleMania without any fans?
Well, I think it's going to be cool. Obviously, when they first announced that they were going to do it at an empty at the Performance Center without a crowd, you have to tune in. Even if it's gold or it's a train wreck, you have to tune in because there's that curiosity factor of, I've seen the halftime heat where it's one match in an empty arena, but a full 3-hour show, But there's intrigue factor to it. And to a lot of friends that don't watch wrestling, and I try to explain it to them, I kind of explain it like it's like a soap opera, just with grown men punching each other. So this really gave into the soap opera feel because literally it's shot like a TV show now. It's not shot like a live sporting event like I'd compare it to football or soccer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Look, I'm happy that it's continuing. I'm just happy that, wrestling is continuing on because everything else is canceled. Hockey and football and baseball and basketball is all canceled. Concerts are canceled. Even though it doesn't look like the wrestling that we're used to seeing, it's this one tiny little semblance of normalness in this crazy world right now. I think that's the pro to this. I'm glad that it's continuing on. I'm glad they didn't also cancel WrestleMania, but it's definitely going to be weird. And this is going to be the WrestleMania that we look back on and tell our grandkids about when they watch the video and they have to go, "Grandpa, why is there no one there?" Well, back in 2020, there was this thing where we weren't allowed to leave our homes. So that's what's going to be so weird about this. This is going to have the asterisk next to it for, the rest of time. The other thing that I think is strange about this is the crowd not only helps, inform the audience as to, who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. It also helps inform the wrestlers. One of my favorite match of all time is The Rock versus Hogan, WrestleMania 18. And Rock was supposed to be the good guy. Hogan was supposed to be the bad guy. The crowd flipped on them and they changed their roles throughout that match. And I think that that's the interesting thing here. If those guys get out in the middle of the ring and something doesn't work, they don't know. They just keep doing it. And then they go to the back and go, "Well, what'd you guys think?" And that's basically it. There's no instant reaction from the crowd, which is the one thing that I really think is missing. But if I had to choose, cancel it or keep it going, I say 1,000% keep it going.
Gotcha. Evan, you said you were going to say something?
I mean, like, I watched NXT yesterday, and they're getting better at it. At least NXT did a good job. Like, they've changed up the camera angle. They got the heart of the ring. They shifted it over. So I'm hoping it's being pre-taped. They'll be able to go in. They'll be able to, edit some of the stuff that you don't get away with on live TV. They can go in there. They can kind of, remove that out, like, maybe miss spots, things like that. I mean, if you're gonna do this pre-tape, and do multiple takes, to do it over again, get it the right way, and give us a nice finished product. And WWE, they've got one of the greatest like video production teams. Like their packages that they air before matches are some of them are seen. So bring that level of production to it, and I think we're gonna have a good WrestleMania, and especially it's gonna be a unique one.
I will say, I just want to add on to that. I think AEW's been doing an incredible job of making it feel like there's actually people there. They're putting
it's been
face
fun.
entranceway instead of facing the crowd. I feel like in the first few weeks, Raw and SmackDown and NXT were basically highlighting the fact that nobody was there, and AEW was highlighting what was important, which was in the ring. And it's interesting that it took a week, and then WWE shifted their camera angle and basically said, "Oh wait, this is what's important, not everything that's."
Okay. I think Evan, you said it best. I think I have a lot of faith in WWE's production quality and production value, and I feel like if they've been pre-recording this, they've had time to really make this as epic as can be, considering the circumstances. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of dark shots. Very movie-esque. I think it's gonna be almost like when you're playing one of those RPG video games where you're getting like those cut scenes where you're just like, oh, okay, wait, that's not like how it's supposed to be, but it's gonna be hopefully it'll be good enough, and we'll see. And for the people who don't know, where can you watch WrestleMania this weekend? It's gonna be on WWE Network, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Let's see. All right. And that's gonna be it's 2 nights. It's Saturday and Sunday, starting at 7 on WWE Network. Okay. So that's what I'd just be sure. So if you're, tune in, and it's gonna be free. There's no pay-per-view charge for this. That's what I read. Can anyone confirm? Do you guys know?
Free for new subscribers.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Okay.
I mean,
but if you're,
it's a promo that they always do, which is sign up for WWE Network. Your first month is free.
Right.
So that they're keeping that promo going.
All right. Oh wait, we got some people are looking forward to. Okay, I guess it's Undertaker versus AJ Styles. That's the big match there. Anybody excited about that one? I'm a little.
So this is a perfect example, right? Of a match for, because calling it a bone out, it's literally basically a graveyard match. So they're filming it on a set. You're going to be able to do things you can't do live in an arena in front of people. So might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah, I figured they'd be doing more outside the box thinking like that when it came to production on this. But all right, but Undertaker is I'm old. Is the streak still going, or did he finally lose? Is that
he lost to Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns.
Wait, so he's lost twice?
Yeah,
like
he's lost twice.
Man, damn.
But Lesnar was the one who broke the streak, 21-1.
All right. Okay, see, Brock Lesnar, that's another guy. I've never been like, I know his mics. He's the big mean machine. I get it. He does that part good, and he's got to have his valet or his manager out there to really sell him as the villain. But as far as a tactician on the ring, he just doesn't compare to Undertaker, man. I've always felt like Undertaker, he really knows how to put on a good show and really sell everything, with the old school and all that.
I feel like it's the one underrated thing about Brock Lesnar, because people get so distracted from, his size and the fact that he needs somebody to talk for him. But like, if you saw the Royal Rumble this year, Brock, it's hard for one man to carry a 30-man match, and he did it to perfection, and since it was one by one going out and him basically eliminating everybody until he got eliminated one by one. You know, that's like what 15, 16 different sort of segments and spots to plan out with somebody. And dude, he had me locked from the second he walked out to the ramp. I was already locked in. And after that performance, I think he's one of the greatest of all time. I mean, that's
really okay.
It's insane how much he carried that match.
Nice. See, okay, all right. Wow. So you got him pretty high up on your top 5 list there, huh? So
yeah, no, I wouldn't say maybe top 10, 15 ish.
Oh, yeah, you're backing off. Now you're backing off. It sounds like you were giving him a lot of props, and now all of a sudden you're backing off.
But he's there. The past couple of years, I haven't really been too high on him. But after this, literally after that Royal Rumble performance, it's kind of hard to not give him the respect that he kind of deserves. That was just amazing what he did. Okay.
I mean, he's a freak of nature. He's a big, just this monster. Like, I'll see, Eben and we went to, I think it was our second ever wrestling match that we saw live in person. We went to a Monday Night Raw back in the year 2000. I know Eben remembers this. And we had that one sweet seat where you're coming down the ramp and it meets the ring. We were in that little corner seat right there. So we had like premium airtime, our signs, everything. This is in the heat of that Attitude Era, 2000. And I remember that night, The Rock and Triple H they were going at it. The Rock's in the middle of the ring and he's screaming at Triple H. Triple H stood in front of me. And I swear to you, it was the biggest human being I've ever seen in my life at that moment. I mean, since then, I've been in locker rooms and I've seen professional football players that are just these mammoths and stuff. But no, but this guy, his shoulders, I couldn't look around him. Anywhere I stood, he was just massive. But then I see guys like Brock Lesnar, and I'm like, man, he makes Triple H look small. So it's scary. It's scary. I don't know how you can get in a ring with some of these monsters, man.
Well, you're forgetting the Big Show was there that night too.
Yes, that's another one.
Yeah.
Man, that was it. Didn't he fight Val Venus that night? Wasn't that the?
I don't remember
that guy.
who
That's an old school name there, Val Venus.
I just remember he walked by and I was like, oh.
Yeah, but Triple H is like, I don't know. To me, that really left an impression on me. I was just like, yo, what is this guy? You know what I mean?
What stands out is that what stands out is like what you said, because these guys aren't like, they're not marketed as giants. They're marketed as like regular sized wrestlers, but regular sized wrestlers are like huge human beings. I think that's why you get sort of like, holy shit, I never realized you were that big.
Oh no, for sure, dude. It's really, really, it's scary, man. Sometimes when you see these guys, Chris, since you've been around so many wrestlers, I mean, who's the guy that you look back and you were just jaw dropped, like, wow, this guy is not human?
Well, I mean, my first interview with Bobby Lashley was crazy because he's not that tall. He's like 6 feet tall, but he's also like 6 feet wide.
Yes.
And I put my arm around him for a photo. And it was like putting my arm around like a rock or like a block of cement. And I'm like, that is just wow. So him for sure. But when I met Big Show, we did the interview for Deco Drive actually. And he arrived in a car and I met him outside and he got out of the car and it's like, he gets out and then he stands up and it's like, oh, hi there. And he's like, hey, my name's Paul. And I'm like, yeah, nice to meet you. And he's legit 7 feet tall. At that time, he was like a lot leaner. Well, he is a lot leaner now than he, was in his prime. He weighed 6 pounds, which at his prime, he was like 560. So 7 feet tall and 560. Like, that's a huge dude. But there's nobody nicer than the Big Show. I mean, what a super, super nice guy.
Yeah, I've actually heard that.
When you're that size, when you're that size, you don't have to be a bad guy. People are just gonna be scared of you anyway. So.
Yeah, I've had a couple friends that I've met along the way that have met him and told me the same thing. He's like Giuliano says here, he's a big teddy bear. Yeah, definitely. Now you said your favorite moment in WrestleMania was one of your favorite moments was that The Rock and Hogan back in what year was that?
That's 2002, WrestleMania 18, and that's my favorite match of all time. And I was there in Toronto, and of course I was cheering for Hogan as loud as I possibly could. I was so excited about this that I told The Rock when I finally interviewed The Rock for the first time. I said, you know, I got to tell you, my favorite match of all time is Rock Hogan. He goes, oh yeah, who are you cheering for? And I'm like, I was cheering for Hogan. He's like, so was I.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I remember that match. I was actually cheering for The Rock. I thought I was a big Rock fan, although NWO is my favorite, like, everything in wrestling. Eben will tell you, I loved everything about NWO, Hollywood, NWO, Wolfpack, every little creation. The original, the WCW days, the WWE days, the WWE days, those are pretty cool, but lack that. It was grimy in WCW. You know what I'm saying? Like there was some dirty dudes with the spray painting and the on anyone's back where it was a very gang.
Well,
vibe
until they added like 76 members and it got a little bit out of hand.
Yeah. It's everything, you know. Everybody wanted a piece of it, but it was, you know, I was watching because here's what I do. I don't keep up as much with the current wrestling, but something that does happen to me all the time is I go on these YouTube black holes where I just start watching one video. So I like to brush up on history of wrestling or stuff that happened, and I keep up with all these things. And I've recently been tuned into the Vice channel. They have this series called Dark Side of the Ring, and
of course,
man, those shows are phenomenal. I watched all of last season. Now they just had the new Chris Benoit episode that came out, but I saw this week's episode. I don't know if any of you guys have caught it yet. The New Jack. I remember New Jack. I didn't know he was that insane. Like, I had no clue. If you guys haven't seen the show, like, spoiler alert, dude's like stabs a dude in a match, like just attempted murder, and it's on video. So if you haven't seen it, you gotta watch it. It's insane, man. Yeah. See, look, so we got somebody at least has seen it. New Jack. I don't know. I mean, ECW was that grimy thing back in the day, but WCW was like just that right amount of grime for me, man.
Well, my favorite part of that episode was let's spend 10 to 15 minutes talking about the issue with the 17-year-old kid in ECW, and we're just going to casually mention that later on in Florida he stabbed the guy in the ring. That was the best part of that. Like,
oh, it was insane. It was insane. I know, Ferb, you're the young buck here. I know that I think a lot of this stuff happened way before you were even born, so I don't want to.
Yeah. I was telling Edwin this the other day. I did relate a lot to the Benoit one because Benoit, the year that he died, 2007, was the year that I first got introduced to wrestling. So that's like ingrained in my head forever. Now, when the whole tragedy with, the whole thing that happened with Benoit, when it happened, I wasn't in the country. I spent the whole summer in South America. And obviously, I'm 7 years old. Social media is just starting up. And in South America, the wrestling shows are delayed by like 6 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I had no clue what happened. I come back to the States. I remember it was like the first week of maybe 3rd grade, 4th grade. And I'm talking to all my friends. And I tell them, hey, whatever happened to Chris Benoit? I haven't seen him in forever. And everybody's jaw dropped. They're like, what are you talking about? I go, Chris Benoit. Like, he hasn't been on TV in like forever. What happened to him, man? I miss him. And then he told me what happened, and I was kind of freaked out. But I really know the story. So hear me? Yeah?
Oh, wait, I think we lost you there, buddy. Your signal seems to be frozen. That quarantine's not working out for you, bro. You got to move that Wi-Fi, man.
Is it me? Is it me?
Looks like it might be.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
So to finish
and you left us.
Yeah.
So going back
that's
and
right.
Saga of what it kind of connected that it connected those
It connected those dots for you?
2 months that I had no clue what happened.
Yeah, that was but Evan knows
sure
I was a Benoit fan. Yeah. well, this is one of the issues that we got to figure out with the quarantine life, man. But with the Wi-Fi signal here. But no, Evan knows I used to be a big Benoit fan. As a wrestling tactician, man, the guy was a beast, man. But that Dark Side of the Ring. If you guys that are watching, man, check out Dark Side of the Ring on Vice. It's intense. They did a really good one on Macho Man, which is my favorite old school wrestler. So, and it was they do a really, really good job. They do a really, really good job. And then losing Eddie, then Benoit back to back was sad, man. Yeah, those were some. And I mean, we've lost quite a bit, man. Wrestling does it. There's that dark cloud, man. There really is. Oh wait, there you go. Yeah, but okay. So let's move along. Let's talk about this Sunday or this Saturday and Sunday. We got the two-parter here. You know what I mean? We got some big matches we've talked about. Goldberg's wrestling. He's fighting Braun Strowman, right? Is that the matchup right now?
Apparently.
Okay.
I think that's the rumor. I think they're still billing it as Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. I'm on the WWE site now, and they haven't changed it. So I guess they're waiting maybe for SmackDown tomorrow to make an announcement.
Okay. Oh, it says here, looking forward to Goldberg versus Braun. Yeah, Big Country gets his hands on a title. Now, Braun Strowman, I can dig him, bro. It's pretty much just because of the beard, though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, That's how you get my sensibilities. You get a nice, cool beard like that, I'll be a fan. But what other matches are you guys looking forward to this weekend?
I think the Brock versus Drew McIntyre is going to be great, and I have a feeling that Drew McIntyre is actually going to finally be the champion. And it's doing this in an empty arena. Drew McIntyre is going to, stand up there with the belt, hopefully at the end of this, and there's going to be no reaction from the crowd. So, I think that'll be. Look, we kind of talked about it earlier. Vince McMahon's a genius. Vince McMahon's a brilliant businessman, and I think that they're going to make this work. They're going to figure this out. They're going to make these WrestleMania moments still happen, even though this is going to be a WrestleMania without fans. But it'll still be a WrestleMania for the fans. So that match I'm pumped about. I actually think I don't know. They really haven't said what the main event is, but I would have to think that's the main event.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like that would make sense. Yeah. We got some people here saying Cena versus The Fiend. That's another big one.
Yeah.
Not excited.
Well, I mean, it's
funny.
Is that
a forced one?
I was saying, you bring up the term main event, and when this happening over 2 nights, you could literally have 2.
Yeah.
So I think that's certainly probably your bigger one, especially with the whole Goldberg match now being in the air. We don't know exactly what's going to happen there. But then, I think you were talking earlier, Edwin, supposedly maybe we might have a women's match as one of the main events.
Yeah, my girl Becky Lynch going up. What's? Oh man, hold on. I'm not up to date with the names. Baszler, Shayna Baszler. Okay, Baszler. Sorry, I'm not doing it justice, but she'll probably kick my ass if she heard me.
You know what? You raise a good point. Even I think it's like maybe one night is the men's main event, if you will, and then maybe the women main event the other night. Maybe Saturday night's the men, and then Sunday night, the real actual main event. Maybe it's the women again, and I think that's great. And I also think we're going to get to a point where we don't refer to these as women's matches and men's matches. I think that maybe it's not now. Maybe it's 5 or 10 or 20 years from now, but I think that eventually we're just going to be like, oh, that was a great match, and it happened to involve women or men or whatever.
I put for The Undertaker versus AJ Styles. Now, at first, when you first rumored that might happen, I wasn't too excited for it. But now after hearing The Undertaker, and he looks absolutely jacked, and he's sounding scary again, I'm excited for that. How it's going to happen in a graveyard, not too sure how that's going to work out, but just seeing The Undertaker fight is pretty exciting because he doesn't have a lot of matches left. Then again, they've been saying that for the past 10 years, and he's still here.
Okay, so I didn't know about this. Gronk is the host?
Yeah, so that's actually a very interesting question there. And I think it's going to be so strange because Gronk's like this huge hype guy, this big energy guy, and he's going to go out there and hype up nobody. So it's going to be so weird that I know he's already debuted on SmackDown, but it's going to be weird that he's the host of this thing getting zero reaction. Once again, not knowing if it's working or not working. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how he's going to be able to pull this off.
I'm not too pumped for that. I find Gronk extremely corny, and I think he's stuck in like I think he's stuck in like 2012. Like he still listens to like LMFAO. It's like, dude, it's look, and I don't know if he's supposed to appeal to like my age group because like we're out there partying and doing stuff like that, but nobody looks like him. Nobody acts like him. It's like it's a little.
Yeah,
like,
you're right. You're right. How is this supposed to appeal to millennials? This retired guy is going to come out and hype everybody up. And I mean, retired from the NFL. He's not like 70, but still, it's not like he's a
right.
I think that what's going to happen here is he's going to start a storyline with somebody. That's got to be what happens here. Otherwise, what's the point of having him out there?
No, yeah, definitely. I saw I watched. I mean, with all this time off, I'm into The Masked Singer, and since he was on it, spoiler alert, he just got eliminated this week. I'm sorry, but he was the White Tiger, and you knew it was him like 10 seconds into his first song. He has no mic skills. It's the same shtick. I'm just gonna dance and be that hype guy. I'm the frat guy doing beer pong and doing it's so played out. Like I don't know how that's gonna appeal. Like you said, to the millennials and the younger generation. Like, oh man, like is it weird that Gronk comes off like a boomer in this angle like this? Like in this situation?
He acts like he's like that one guy that just tries way too hard, to be. He's like that high school teacher that tries to be cool with the kids.
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, man, I'm lit. It's like, no, man, shut up. I think
he was awful on What Masked Singer, by the way.
I think that it benefits him that it's an empty arena, because I'm pretty sure if you would have put him in a packed house of 80,000 people, he'd get the crap out of him. Because he's to me, he's corny. I think he's incredibly corny.
I'm excited to see what he can do in the ring because WWE has actually signed him to a contract. This isn't a one-off like hosting gig. So I'm excited to see what he does in a ring. But it's so you raise a good point here for like wrestling fans are so like fickle. Basically, like this is our world. You're trying to come into our world. Well, you better be damn good. And there's been very few people that have been able to cross over that have mega status that have been able to cross over. And I think Ronda Rousey is the only one I can think of recently where she came in and people were like, oh, I don't know. And then she was a great wrestler. And we went, okay.
One of the OG crossovers, Mike Tyson.
Right. And that was done well. The Floyd Mayweather one was done well. But, well, here's the other thing. WrestleMania hosts don't really do much other than, like, welcome the crowd and then maybe, like, add a stipulation to a match. I don't think that, we're going to be seeing too much of Gronk.
I think we're overestimating his influence on this whole production for 2 days. It's probably gonna be like 5 minutes of airtime at the beginning, if that, But yeah, I mean, I had no clue, man. I'm telling you, I see what you're saying, Ferb, about him, being like, but he got through 3 eliminations on The Masked Singer just by riling up a crowd and being that big hype guy and dancing and making a fool of himself. So I definitely think if there was 60,000 people or however many people were going to be at the stadium, it could have been something there. He would have been able to work that angle. You know what I mean? So
wrestling's weird like that.
It is. It's very, very, very strange. Chris, I think that we got a question here for you. How was the experience meeting JDF?
JDF?
Who's?
Does he mean MJF?
Maybe it's MJF?
Okay.
I don't know who JDF. I don't know.
Yeah, probably that one.
Wait, have you ever interviewed Jason David Frank from Power Rangers?
Oh. I have not. Maybe that's what this is. No, I haven't. I wish I had, but no, I haven't.
Oh wait, let's see. Yeah. Okay. He corrected himself. MJF.
And I saw the last comment. I don't think the Miz is the closest comparison to Gronk. I think it's Mojo Riley. I think Mojo Riley is the best comparison.
Well, that's certainly how they're selling it.
He stays hype.
But he's a cornball too, so it's like they feed off each other. It's just the corniness is just. Oh man.
And meeting MJF was one of the worst experiences of my life. He's a terrible human being, and I think that anyone that has to interact with Maxwell Jacob Friedman, my heart goes out to them. He's an awful person.
I mean, the guy made a kid cry at a signing not too long ago. That was.
He's the ultimate heel, and people are always like, "What's he like in real life?" I'm like, there is no, there's no character with him. It's just he's the same guy all the time.
Wow. Okay. See, I had no clue. So, I mean, in your experience, has there been anybody else that's like in character, even when you interviewed them or off the camera, they were still in character, like they never turned it off? Anybody else sticks out?
I mean, I guess so. Obviously, MJF's in AEW. Orange Cassidy would be another one. If you guys are familiar with him, he doesn't say much. He's too cool for everything. And my interview with him consisted of one word and a thumbs up.
I do love me some fresh squeezed Orange Cassidy. But I would have figured that in private, he'd just be the complete opposite. Like, I just totally imagine you get in a room with him, he just doesn't shut up.
Right. Maybe that's the case. I don't know.
I will say, Chris, your interview with Orange Cassidy was a masterclass of journalism. That technique was it was phenomenal. Right. It was phenomenal.
That's what's up, man. All right. And, okay, so we've talked Strowman, we've talked Goldberg, we've talked Becky Lynch. Is there anything else that any other big matches here that we're omitting? You guys are the experts. I go to you for this question. You're my lifeline on this text here. What should I look forward to if I'm watching this weekend? What other match should I really focus on an intake here?
I think I got to say Edge versus Randy Orton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the comeback we didn't think was going to happen, I'm really looking forward to that match. I'm just sad that it won't be in front of a crowd because that crowd would have been so hyped up.
So, yeah, I found out Edge is back. I thought dude had, was it a back issue or a spinal issue or something? Maybe I'm wrong, that he couldn't wrestle for, that's what forced him into the retirement?
Yeah, it was a neck injury, but obviously, science or medical science has come a long way. And Daniel Bryan was supposed to be retired forever. Now he's back. Edge, they said he would never wrestle again. And I mean, it's going to be so great because he's still in such good shape. The crowd loves him, even though there won't be a crowd there. But, this is a match that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about. And Randy Orton's the king of making people look good. So that match is going to be really good too.
Yeah, that whole storyline, I think, is one that they should really delve into the whole movie, shoot that match like a movie, because the whole story is like a movie, just like the way he comes back after years of not being there. Randy Orton RKOing his wife, it's such a spectacular, I think, storytelling wise.
Wait, he RKO'd Edge's wife?
Yeah, man.
Shut up.
Well, but Edge's wife is a wrestler, Beth Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still, I don't think I've been shocked that much in a while. It was literally Randy Orton RKO out of nowhere. I haven't screamed that much watching wrestling in a while. That really got me excited for the match. I was like, holy shit, they're pulling out all the stops.
Yeah, that was well done. I just thought from a story, if wrestling's real, if we're supposed to buy into what's happening on the screen, I thought it was so strange that Edge is just getting absolutely decimated by Randy Orton, the concerto, and the RKO on a chair, and no one runs out to save him for 5 minutes. And they finally come out and, hey, Randy, back off. And I'm thinking, where have you guys been for the last 5 minutes?
Oh, man. Wait, we got to ask the question here. RKO, stunner, or diamond cutter? What's the better move?
Ooh, I got to go with stunner. I mean, just because it's attached to Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he's done it famously to absolutely everybody. You know that the cheers of the beer is followed quickly by the kick to the gut, which is followed quickly by the stunner. So I'm going to go with that, and then I'll give the diamond cutter a real like the runner-up because they come out of nowhere. Like he was the king of doing them out of nowhere, and then kind of Randy Orton, did it from there.
Well, I always remember. I want to say it was a War Games match where he just grabbed someone who was like hanging on to the roof of the cage and just diamond cutter off the roof of the cage.
Yeah.
I think Eddie Guerrero. I think he gave him a diamond cutter out of a power bomb. Like he was the king of diamond cutter out of nowhere.
Yep.
But then you got to give it to Randy Orton and the memes.
Yeah.
Just because of the memes, the RKO.
Yes.
The people on a boat and Randy Orton comes out and just RKO someone, things like that. Like just randomly inserting them in. Like I think that's what's gonna make the RKO live forever. But I mean it's essentially it is the diamond cutter. That hasn't changed.
Yeah, for me, hands down, it's Stone Cold, just because it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. But considering how I grew up with Randy Orton, I mean, Randy Orton now was lit. I was terrified of him. Like he was between the RKO, kicking people everywhere, breaking into people's houses. Like people forget that he was crazy. Like he's made 8-year-old me cry many times. Watching him get it wrong. That guy, he went to the period. He was absolutely insane.
Spoken like a tormented kid.
And I'm with you. The punt, when he was doing the punt, that was like devastating. And he was the legend killer. I loved that gimmick when he was basically beating up all these old people. I thought that was amazing.
I like I gotta go with, I think visually the stunner, especially when you get the 2-finger salute right before, always clutch, or coming off a reversal when he just spins you around. That's always nice. But man, you brought up a good point with the memes though. The RKO memes. We've all spent plenty of time just on that, just scrolling through those videos and watching that stuff, man. That's got to count for something. So, yeah, I might have to. It's closer. It's closer than I thought. I'll put the diamond cutter. I'll put that one at 3. Just I got to boost it up for that one. But all right, so if you got those, that's a classic finisher. I like to talk about overrated finishers, which to me, I've always said, like they were showing. I think it was the anniversary a few days ago of when Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant and then hit him with the leg drop and won the title at WrestleMania, and it was this whole big deal. But dang, the leg drop is like gotta be the weakest of all the finishers from any like heavyweight like champion of all time. I mean, the people's elbow is like it's right there underneath it too. I mean, the presentation is top notch, but it's an elbow. I mean,
I gotta disagree because it's not about how devastating the move is. It's about how over you can get it, and you didn't get more over than the Hogan leg drop and the people's elbow.
I don't know, man. Look, we got all right. Chris Hahn agrees. Rock elbow is overrated. I got those two as the top two. Just not. It's I don't know. I get the whole spiel. Oh, who was the guy who used to do it was instead of a people's elbow, he used to just chop you, like fall down and chop you. He used to do the worm. What was his name?
Worm? Scotty Too Hottie.
Scotty Too. I forget. That's almost.
But that wasn't a finisher, at least. That was just a setup move.
Yeah, that's true. But
I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, but I think that this move is ugly, and if you break it down, it doesn't seem very devastating, and it's the styles clashed. I think it's so weird that a guy's hanging. You have his legs, and he's hanging between. He does like a little bit of a belly flop. The first time I saw that move, I'm like, and I love AJ Styles. I was a huge TNA fan, like 05, 06, 07, when TNA was like at its peak. And whenever he did the Styles Clash, I was like, oh, really? Because he also had this move off the top rope, which was like a kind of like a corkscrew moonsault type of thing. And it was incredible and insane. But every time he won with the Styles Clash, it was like, come on, AJ, like come up with a better move other than just flopping on some guy.
Yeah, man, tell you, there's some stuff up there.
You can't. It's kind of hard because he's not the biggest guy in the world, but if someone like if you had a guy like Earthquake do the Styles Clash, then you would probably be like, holy crap, how did he not kill him?
Maybe because it would probably.
Uh-oh.
Don't worry, I'm back.
I thought that was like a segue into some cutscene in a WWE promo there, you know?
The Fiend was going to pop up behind him.
Fiend was coming out, man. He's going to pop up in Ferb's screen. You were saying, Ferb? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm back. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I thought The Undertaker was going to come out as soon as Chris came back on. I got kind of scared.
Yeah, man. I think those are some solid ones. You know, for being an old...
I can't hear you guys now, so I'm going to have to add myself back in here. Hold on one second.
Go for it. So while Chris rejoins us here, I actually... Man, yeah, it's tough to beat those two, man. Oh, wait, here's... we got another... I'd say another one's bad delivery, and the person who was doing everything. Shawn Michaels. Ah, man, I don't know. Sweet Chin Music. Eben.
I love Sweet Chin Music. I hate the fact that the super kick has just become a random move, and like it's no longer like everybody does a super kick. It's no longer a finisher. My thing is, if Shawn Michaels is going to stand in the corner and stomp his feet over and over, and I'm laying on the ring, I'm like, well, I know what's coming.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to do a Stone Cold. I'm going to grab his foot, flip him around. So it's like, the whole fact that he gives it away, and I think like you got to get that too, guys. Like I know Randy Orton does the whole like pounding on the mat before he does the RKO. It's like why are you giving this away?
Yeah.
Wait and then just deliver the move. Don't tell him, don't tell him it's coming.
Yeah, I think that's true. That's like a different, instead of having a weak finisher, it's a weak, tease into the finish, because the Shawn Michaels,
once again, if you guys can see and hear me, I can't see and hear you.
Oh no!
I'm so sorry.
Oh well, he works through that. Man, I'm telling you, the Sweet Chin Music to me has always been a sweet finisher. Like the way it's executed, everything, and just the build up to it. Yeah, it's true. The build up to it, it sucks. It gives it away. It kind of takes away that pizzazz from the move. But let's all right. Well, let's see. Let's see if Chris gets back on here. But you were saying, go ahead.
And it's also been like watered down, right? Because when he hit Sweet Chin Music, it was over. Now Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, Joey Ryan, like everybody's got a super kick, and they hit the super kick, guy falls to the mat, gets back up. It's like, for years, Shawn Michaels made me believe that getting kicked in the face like that would knock me out. Yeah. Now you guys are telling me like, oh no, this is not a finishing move. This is just a random
regular
offense.
move. Yeah, I feel you. And to answer Chris Hahn's question there, no, Yokozuna actually died. That's kind of messed up, but yeah.
Well, I think he was referring to the bonsai drop.
No, I know. Just kidding, hard time. But yeah, that was an epic finisher there. Man, so I mean, we're getting close to the end here anyway. But I do want to thank everybody who's been watching. Remind you guys, hit the little subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Be sure to give us a subscribe there. Eben, tell people what you got going on We Ain't Found Sith.
Okay, so right now We Ain't Found Sith. We're gearing up. We missed March Madness, so we decided to hold a tournament of our own. If you go over to our Facebook page right now, facebook.com/We Ain't Found Sith, join the group. We have open until tomorrow voting for seeding in the best TV program tournament. So go in there, I'm closing those polls. I'm going to be setting up the final tournament brackets, and we're going to try to determine the best television show, at least of my lifetime. I will blatantly admit I stole the idea from the New Day podcast. I didn't agree with their tournament, so I was like, I'll just do my own.
This is not. I'm so sorry, guys. I can't see or hear anything.
Oh man, we hear you just fine. I don't know if that's an issue there. Let me see. Yeah, dude, it's a shame. Oh, I think he's gone. Well, we'll try to get Chris back on. We'll give him one more shot. But go ahead, Eben. Sorry.
Yeah. So go to the site, get that. We got our 49th episode just dropped. So our next one is our 50th. So, a little bit of a milestone for us there. and that's pretty much it for me as far as the corona's treating me.
Ferb, why don't you? I know you've been in quarantine. What day is it now for you?
Day 7. It would officially be a week that I got to use it. I gotta stay in my room and not do anything. Chris just said saying that he's having a lot of trouble and he's so sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
But I'll plug it. I'll plug it for him. But yeah, it's been a pretty boring 7 days. But thankfully, I have do stuff like this and doing stuff on my podcast, and I've been lucky to be able to still do my radio show from the house. So it's been going well.
Oh, perfect.
It's really tested my patience.
Yeah, and most importantly, man, just stay healthy, bro. Stay safe. Do everything you got to do. We want to have Ferb around. We don't want you getting sick. I know it's a serious thing, being locked up and not seeing the fam, bro. But you're halfway through. You'll get through it.
We're halfway there.
You can get back up on that stand-up mic that you're. I'm pretty sure you missed that. If you want to tell people how that's going.
Oh yeah. Well, I do a plethora of stuff. I'm a man of many interests. So
yes.
You guys can listen to me on the weekends on 294.9 Joven Como Tu on. If you're here in Miami, and if not, you can catch us on the free iHeartRadio app, where you can listen to my podcast, the Nonsense Podcast, and you can listen to Lemon City Live.
That's right.
And if you're in Miami, you can also check me out in the Miami stand-up comedy scene, which is one that is growing exponentially. Like it sort of sucks the timing that all this has happened, because we were skyrocketing it up. We're getting some big comedians from out of town that were just coming and helping kind of set the field.
Yeah.
How stand-up is supposed to work and how to develop talent and how to bring some comedians to the next level. And stand-up is about repetition, and it's about, it's like practicing a sport. The more you do it, the better you get. So to now have this pause, it really, kills momentum for a lot of the comedians. So we're just excited for all this to be over so we can get back out there and make drunks laugh. So,
yeah, but hey, you're doing it right. You're doing, and just you're taking care of yourself. And then once this is all over, man, we can together as a group work on helping lift each other up and getting back out there and doing your stand up and being able, because you're on, what is it, on Monday nights on 294?
Yeah, I'm on I'm on Monday overnights, and then I'm on there all throughout the weekend. So and then now with the coronavirus, we have to switch up our programming a lot, and we have to find new avenues to inform and entertain and make laughs. So
there you go.
So we're there. We're still trucking along. So
awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited for.
And where can people find you? Give them the info.
You guys can follow me on Instagram at rojas.radio. That's my main social media space. So yeah, I have everything up there, from memes to my DJ mixes to where I'm going to be doing stand up, a whole bunch of stuff. So
I saw you emceeing festivals and stuff with Uptown Dale and all that stuff, bro.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I was asked to host beach model volleyball, which is as crazy as it sounds.
That sounds like a WWE event right there.
Yeah. I literally felt like The Rock, just a lot skinnier. I asked him, I was like, "What do you want me to do?" You're like, "Just host, and it's on a beach, and there's models, and they're playing volleyball." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Sounds easy enough." So it's stuff like that kind of rattles my mind. This is what I get to do for a living.
See, you should have gotten like super serious about it and been like, "Okay, win-loss records are, because I'm gonna do this to girls feel appreciated as athletes, because then hook some friends up."
No, it was a good time. It's one of the highlights so far of 2020. A very depressing 2020 so far, but
it is. But it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better for all 100%. Of us. And you tell people where they can find Chris's stuff, man. Chris Van Vliet on YouTube is the channel. Just search Chris Van Vliet.
Yeah, man. Chris is one of the biggest, internet wrestling personalities on the internet. It's so crazy, man, and it's so cool what he's been able to do with his channel. So yeah, you guys can find him on YouTube at Chris Van Vliet. You can find him on Instagram as Chris Van Vliet. You can look at his interviews on YouTube. And you can also listen to him through his podcast on wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, super cool that Chris was able to come on, man, because he, like I said, he's just he knows
He's a
his
wealth
stuff.
of encyclopedia.
Oh, yeah,
like,
man.
Truly a
he's
heavyweight.
got a
who
lot
has
of info.
graced
And Chris,
with
if
his
you're
presence.
listening, thank you. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And Chris, if you're listening, thank you again for joining us, man. We really, really appreciate it. For sharing your time. Hopefully we can do this again. Maybe we can do something after WrestleMania and discuss what happened. I'm up for it if you guys are up for it. But tell us, if you guys are watching, tell us what you think in the comments. Remember, give everybody here a follow. Help each other out. We're all helping each other out during these hard times. So every little like, every single follow, subscribe goes a long way for all of us. So thanks again to Chris for joining us. Thank you for spend. Oh wait, you got something?
Oh, one thing before we wrap up.
Yes,
I have to give you guys my favorite WrestleMania match.
Oh, okay. Yes. We got time. Let's go.
All right.
Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels. Ric Flair's retirement match.
Oh, is that? Was that the I'm sorry match? Was that the I'm sorry match?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that whole story. Ric Flair for I don't know how many months not giving up, keep on trucking. This old man flipping over. He doesn't care. He's winning. To him, know what's coming. And basically say, I finally give up. End it for me. And I'm sorry. Mwah, chef's kiss. It was just wonderful. Aside from pro wrestling, it was just wonderful storytelling, wonderful drama. It was, man, I cry every time. Literally, I started the match a couple of days ago. I cry every time.
Well,
Evan, you got one?
Let's not go too far from you. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels retirement match. I mean, that from beginning to end, that match was just nonstop. And it was the storytelling in that match was so amazing.
It is Carol Baskins. You're right. And fuck Carol Baskins for life. For life.
Carol fucking Baskin.
I hate Carol Baskins.
By the way, if you haven't seen the Tiger
I don't know.
King,
I mean, maybe you just want to, rub sardine oil on them.
Yep. By the way, if you've seen the Tiger King and you want to get into some Tiger King talk, check out our Lemon City Live podcast from Tuesday. We did a live stream and it was entirely an hour dedicated just to the Tiger King. So if you want to get all your feelings out and everything, watch that. It's on the Facebook page. It's on our YouTube page. You can check that out. Definitely. Eben, that's a great match. My favorite, Mankind, Undertaker, that wasn't WrestleMania, the Hell in the Cell, the first one, right?
No.
All right. So I know that's not up there. That's one of my that was one of my favorite matches for the obvious reasons. I mean, it was just, incredible spectacle. But I'm gonna have to go with and I have to admit, I'm super jealous that Chris was at that match, dude. I remember watching Rock and Hogan at that WrestleMania. To me, it was I think he said WrestleMania 18. That was that official passing of the torch. The Rock was still the Rock. He was still the wrestling Rock. He wasn't movie star Rock yet. And you had Hogan definitely already towards the end of his thing. And I do remember, it going from, Rocky to Rocky sucks throughout the match. And, hearing the Hogan chants. And I'll admit, I was going for the Rock. But, as the match went on, man, I found myself, cheering for Hogan. That to me was the little kid in me that idolized Hogan in the 80s and 90s to the older kid and, young adult that grew up on the Rock. To me, that was just like, wow, what the fuck am I gonna do? So that was definitely my favorite match there. But your guys' picks are right there too. Those are great.
And to think that that almost didn't happen.
What do you mean?
So originally, I think the idea was it was supposed to be. Yeah, I think originally the idea was that it was going to be Hogan versus Stone Cold. And then I don't know exactly what happened, but they wound up changing it, and it wound up becoming Hogan versus Rock. And I mean, the rest is history.
Yep, that's true. It's definitely good. You were gonna say, Ferb?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite part about those passing of the torch matches, or those retirement matches, is especially when the guy that's passing the torch, the guy who's retiring, is is at the top of their game. You know what I'm saying? Because there's just that moment of appreciation.
Yeah.
With Hogan. Like, I saw that match and I was like, wow. Even though you can tell Hogan's clearly on the decline, that's one of those matches that you're like, damn, they did it at the exact right time. Same thing with Ric Flair. Even though Ric Flair, you know, he wasn't doing much, I think that's the best match of his career. He was pulling out all the stops. Like, it was classic Ric Flair. And look, I went on a binge on the WWE Network. They have this. If anybody has 3 hours to kill, and trust me, I've had them. They have a marathon of Ric Flair's best matches, and 3 hours long matches from the beginning of his career to the end. Still in my mind, his final match, best match of all time.
Solid. Can't argue with that. I will admit, Ric Flair. Very few people can put over a guy as good as Ric Flair did. You know, he was the best at selling everything, but nobody, and I mean nobody, could ever sell that weak-ass Hogan leg drop better than my boy The Rock. I mean, that guy made it look like his head fell off in a guillotine, his leg kicking up in the sky. I mean, no one sold it better than my boy The Rock. That's a fact, all right? So, but anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank everybody for participating, for commenting. Be sure to we love you, Giuliano. Thanks for watching, sticking with us throughout the whole broadcast. Ferb, thank you. Chris, thank you. Eben, thank you. Make sure that you vote on Eben's polls. Get out there. We're doing March Madness there. Watch Ferb. Go give him a follow. Hit the bells, hit the whistles, do all that stuff. Thank you guys for watching. I love you. Good night.
Peace out.